therapy in conjunction with reinforcement and play-based techniques to deal with a specific phobia. It's a single subject experimental study using an integrated approach. So I'll just go on to an introduction to explain what narrative therapy is. According to Mia and Boivin, narrative therapy is an action-oriented approach where old narratives are deconstructed into new narratives, which helps the clients to resolve their problems by inviting them to make decisions and take actions in the future. To elaborate a little more on this, it's an approach originated by Michael White and David Epstein. It shows how people's identities are defined and constructed through stories, the power involved in being in the position to decide which stories to be told, which stories not to be told, and which stories should be retold. White often calls it as rich story development. Narrative illustrates how people's stories give meaning to their lives and relationships. Narrative therapists' ideas are based in post-structuralist philosophy. They believe it's focusing on contextualized meaning-making rather than on universal truths or on all-encompassing reality. Hence, it focuses on people's experiences. Rather than viewing people themselves as problematic or pathological, narratives look at the relationships that people have with these problems. Hence, the slogan for narrative therapy is, the person is never the problem is the problem. And with main themes from narrative therapy, I've incorporated symbolic play as well as reinforcement in order to keep the client more motivated during the sessions. The problem was a 4-year-old child with encopresis, constipation and soiling, with a specific phobia to pass motion. When the client was brought in for therapy, they have gone to several doctors and had taken treatment for this for like 1.5 years. And they were recommended by a pediatric to try therapy because they couldn't come out with a solution. And the only means to pass motion was application of suppository when the client came. The fear to go to the toilet, as it was painful for him to pass motion, was the main problem. Because of his diet, it got constipated. Every time he passed, he was having the fear because it was painful for him. The main aim was to find the effectiveness of approaches and to help the child overcome the phobia and provide him a safe platform where he would feel more comfortable to deal with this phobia. The methodology. The research design is a single, as I said before, it's a single subject experimental studies, and main concepts of narrative therapy were employed along with play therapy techniques of using different toys and role playing while applying positive reinforcement. So this is the concepts mainly applied. So during the first initial sessions, the statement position map, which you can see on the screen, was applied in the beginning. Though this didn't go in a linear fashion as shown in the picture, I'll just read out how I took the sessions in the initial. So first was mapping the effects of problems activities. First I met with the parents and inquired about how the problem was affecting the relationship between the child and the parents. So after evaluating the effect of the problem, the distress that was caused due to the pain to the child, as well as how difficult it was for the parents to deal with the situation, because they had to force him to do the activity, and plus there were conflicts between the child and the parent due to this fear. And once it was evaluated, once the mapping of effects, the effects of problems, activities were evaluated, then I invited the client to characterize the problem in terms of that were experienced near and particular to his knowledge of life. So this was the first step. We are negotiating the experience near and particular definition of the problem was the beginning of the session with the child. So I gave the child to draw the phobia and hence name the phobia. So the child came up with a name called Addo. Addo means, in our local language, it means pain. So then after it was externalized, we identified the phobia's purpose and plan. So it was discussed in the sessions with the child how the phobia was affecting the child's daily life. And once then we moved on to evaluating the effects of the problem, that was the expression of anger the child was having while the parent was trying to force him to pass motion and all. After justifying the evaluation, from then on we started with the sessions where play therapy using symbol was incorporated. I'll just show some pictures where the client was engaged in play. So during this symbolic play time, the client actually was imitating that he was having the urge to pass motion and addo. These are the symbols that he has chosen for himself to represent him as well as addo. So in the beginning he said addo was much more greater than him, but with the invent of a star chart to motivate him, we actually started playing through play, we started imitating the process. So the results or the findings is externalizing conversation played a significant role in improving the client, because once the problem was externalized, he was much more in power because he saw the problem away from him and it was easy for him to deal with the problem. And it gave a sense of power to the client as well. And play-based techniques guided the client to build his confidence level, because through play he was being every time he wanted him to be the winner. And with reinforcement, it kept him motivated, and with the help, all this actually was possible because the parents, they themselves were very cooperative, and they helped when the child was at home, it was the parents who helped him through with this. So around 3 weeks he started to pass motion without the use of suppository, and between 6 to 8 weeks he reached the target to pass motion twice a week, and at the end of the therapy he had started to pass motion 3 times a week. Conclusion. To build confidence, we were able to build confidence in the child to deal with the phobia, and reinforcement kept him motivated throughout. However, there is still further research should be done to find the effectiveness of integrated approaches and strategies to enhance implementation. Implication. As a therapist, I came to a much richer understanding of how significant the narrative of the client was, and I was more informed. And keeping the sessions too rigid and problem focused led the child to be less engaged, which is why I used different play-based ways. Like I gave him free drawing, free play, like playing with blocks and different other play materials as well. And reinforcing the progress positively kept the client motivated and more focused to get over the phobia.